Hi folks, Phil here from BTP. Hope you're all well. Thursday here, just want to get one or two things off my chest because I'm still really angry with this whole Super League thing. And I have a couple of questions, some things to say. First of all, what happened shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody who's been paying attention to football for the last 20, 25 years. The game has consistently been um, sacrificing culture, history, tradition, things that are sacred in football for profit and telling us it's for the good of the game. And we've seen widespread condemnation from a lot of powerful voices, and it's nice to see Sky being so morally on point, and being so vocal and giving the likes of Gary Neville such a platform and time to speak about this. I couldn't disagree with a word Gary said. As the owner of Salford FC, I'm sure he's very concerned about clubs below the Premier League and the top six or whatever being cut off and financially being cut off. I'm sure that would be very concerning if you're a owner of a football league club. But and of course someone who cares. But they say they got it wrong and they listen to their fans, which of course anyone with a brain knows that's utter bollocks. Right? They don't care about you. They never have. Nor does Sky. Sky only have brought themselves to care and are so vehemently indignant because it now affects their pocketbook, just like it does with everyone else who's screaming. People who have stayed silent for 30 years as football is continuously used and abused as a vehicle for profit for those who care nothing for the sport. They didn't care about the imposition being put on fans when they scheduled games at weird times. All these things that have been put on fans, they cared none. Right? So you will forgive me for refusing to accept them into the tent now as someone who's found a moral compass. Edward Ward says he resigned as a result of not being comfortable with the Super League. So you have to believe one or two things. You have to believe he's either the most incompetent CEO, executive vice chairman, whatever you want to call him, in the history, right, of humanity. Are you telling me that as the most senior employee at that football club, you are not aware of the details that were discussed that would have a seismic impact on Manchester United as a football club and as a business? And you only became aware of them Monday and you decided to resign then and protest? I mean, if I believe that, that concerns me. And then, if you did find a moral compass and resigned, well, the only people that could have done this without your consent are the Glazers, right? So that would suggest there's a rift between Woodward and Glazers, and that he resigned and protested something they would have done, which then raises so many other questions about the relationship with Solskjaer, players, and everything else, all of who were betrayed, and all of whom now will be looking at their relationship with the football club in question and all sorts of things, as lots of players will be. So they did this because for the last 30 years, fans have not been listened to, right? They've never had to listen to fans. They didn't care about you. They took you for granted. They assumed you will always pay no matter what. But Sky weren't giving platforms to fans. Sky weren't giving platforms to dissenting voices because it wasn't affecting them. But now they are. And this is where they really miscalculated. They miscalculated the reaction of the big boys who were going to be hit in the pocket. And ultimately, that's the reason why. Because sponsors and everybody else looked at this and looked at the reaction and said, we can't support this. So, of course, clubs do what sponsors tell them. I'd like to believe it was solely down to the fans. But Man United fans protested for months outside Old Trafford, right? All types of vocal protests, and the Glazers never once even mentioned them. But now they're listening to the fans. Forgive my cynicism. So it's really, really important that United fans and everyone else take advantage of this moment, because if they don't get legislation now, they'll never get it. All right? So it's vital that the argument is made to the Premier League and the FA, look, this is in your financial interest to rewrite this legislation, and then it'll get rewritten. Okay, not because it's moral, not because it's ethical, not because it's right. And they didn't pull out of the Super League for any other reason than the money wasn't going to be there, right? As I said in the tweet, these people would kick babies up and down the street for billions and tell you they're saving football if it was profitable. They don't care. Um, so, this is something that we need to stay focused on. When our teams play this weekend, our attention will be focused elsewhere. We cannot forget this. We cannot let them forget it. We cannot let them forget what they've done. These people should never be allowed to work in football again, and the pressure must be kept up. Massive kudos to all of you fans for finally getting a victory. We rarely win. The big boys usually win. But regardless of the reasons, this is a victory. So hats off to all of you, and fight for your football club, because now more than ever we need to.